Berlin Cathedral is one of the most impressive buildings in the German capital. It is located on Museum Island and near the reconstructed City Palace. The cathedral has witnessed more than a century of complex world history. A century in which rulers succeeded one another at a breakneck pace. Emperor Wilhelm II. President Paul von Hindenburg. Leader of the Weimar Republic, Friedrich Ebert. The Nazi Adolf Hitler. Communist leader of the GDR, Erich Honecker. And then the chancellors of reunified Germany such as Angela Merkel, who grew up in the GDR. In the 18th century, the first cathedral was built on the current site. It was a modest cathedral, but it did have a crypt for the noble Hohenzollern family. However, it was not considered representative enough of the monarchy of the time. A more exuberant replacement was built. It was constructed between 1894 and 1905 on the orders of Emperor Wilhelm II. This cathedral was also located near the City Palace. And it was there that, at the start of World War I, the German emperor called on the people to support the war. The fact that the war was not won marked the end of the emperor's reign and the monarchy in 1918. That year, the Republic was proclaimed on both sides of Unter den Linden. The socialist Philipp Scheidmann did so on November 9th from the Reichstag.
Kaiser hat abgedankt. Und seine Freunde sind verschwunden. Es lebe die Deutsche Republik.
And the Marxist Karl Liebknecht did so at the Emperor's City Palace. Emperor Wilhelm II himself was not in Berlin when he was deposed. He would never return there. Berlin Cathedral remained behind, next to an empty palace in the Weimar Republic. That lasted over 13 years. That was just a bit longer than the Third Reich that followed in 1933. Then Adolf Hitler became chancellor, and he, too, was often seen near the cathedral. Hermann Göring was married in Berlin Cathedral in 1935. Hitler served as Göring's best man and, of course, sat in the front row during the wedding service. But the Third Reich, too, came to an end, and Berlin Cathedral also fell victim to it. On May 24, 1944, the cathedral's dome was severely damaged during a bombing raid. The building remained standing but was not restored. The City Palace was also severely damaged. After the fall of the Third Reich, Germany split into a capitalist and a communist state. The cathedral was now suddenly located in the communist GDR. Reconstruction began late. The crypt would never be accessible to the public during the GDR era. Under communism, there was no place for the history of the nobility. Church services were held there, but so were state rituals. The remains of the imperial palace were demolished. In its place stood the People's Palace of the Socialist Republic, a modern, glass-filled building where the GDR parliament could convene, right next to Berlin Cathedral. Eastern Germany once again found itself under dictatorship. Fleeing to the west became life-threatening. Yet people kept trying. On November 9, 1989, the wall fell. Germany was reunited. Since two parliaments were no longer needed, the Reichstag was restored and the People's Palace of the GDR was demolished. For years, a large, empty lawn lay next to the cathedral on the site of the City Palace and the People's Palace, until the reconstruction of the City Palace began. When it was finished, it became accessible to every German and every tourist. Across a busy street, the Berlin Cathedral still stands, occasionally letting everyone know it's still there.